Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time, especially on a Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. So I want to make sure everybody walks away with some great nuggets as we talk about every single week in these live trainings. So please take out a pen and paper, notes app, use that Q&A pane that's part of your GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar software. Very important because I want to make sure you remember these strategies, these ideas, and I can assure you, you're going to say by the time we're done or in the middle, oh, I have a guy, I have a girl, I have a small business. I know someone that wants to protect a child or grandchild or college funding, college planning, all the above, okay? And that's what you're going to learn about today. So make sure you remember these things. Make sure you reach out to our marketing team. We now have over 10 marketers in 4 different states to help you. And it doesn't matter if you're calling in from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or Key West, Florida. It doesn't make a difference. We have you covered in every city in the U.S., but you got to pick up the phone. Reach out, okay? In fact, what we're doing today, and very rare that we do this, is Josh Hoffman, who's our guru, is on with us as well. In fact, he has part of the presentation. If you know Josh, he's like our in-house encyclopedia when it comes to retirement planning, IUL, annuities. He is literally our guru, our go-to, and I want to make sure that you all are comfortable speaking to Josh. You can pick up the phone, call him, email him. He's a great resource for all of you, okay, especially when it comes to some of the 1035 exchanges, some of the more complex questions that have to do with loans, with life settlements, premium finance. Just know he is available literally 9 to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday Eastern time, okay? All right, let's jump right in. What I want to make sure is that we have a little bit for everyone, okay? If you've never sold an IUL before, you're going to learn something new. If you are a veteran in the space, you're like a Josh Hoffman Jr., okay, let's call it, right? You're also going to learn something new. I promise you, because why? We have some new strategies, techniques, software, technology that you haven't seen before, okay? That's new to us, new to the industry, some new statistics, okay, that you're going to learn about. In fact, I just learned about before we started the webinar. So some unbelievable things we're going over. We also are going to share some year-end incentives from some of the IUL products and carriers, okay? Typically, they do a push around this time, so you need to be in the loop with this stuff. We have some great underwriting niches, okay? Forget about, the old school table shave, which is great, okay? 3 tables shaved off to standard. We still have that with a few different carriers, but we also have a 2-class upgrade that we're going to talk about from competitive products, some of the most competitive IUL products. So a lot of nuggets here today. We're going to talk about no exam underwriting to $3 million, okay, same day decision. I mean, this is a game changer in the IUL space. So let's jump right in. And what I want to talk about first are some of the latest LIMRA statistics that just came out, okay? And we have a few different things that I want to point out here. Number one, as we're going through the slides, you should be thinking about marketing, about getting scrappy, about getting the message out through social media, through your YouTube channel. I mean, you can literally hold up your smartphone tonight and record yourself talking about IUL, retirement planning, dying too soon, living too long, right? IUL with long-term care benefit riders, all the above, okay? That's how you have to think to get the word out, to get scrappy in 2023 and moving into the new year. You got to take these things and then put them into an image like we did on the left-hand side and then get it out there to your entire database. Why? Because if you get one person that says, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was available. I didn't even know what IUL meant. Tell me more. That's a new lead. That's a new free lead, okay? That didn't cost you a penny. It took you about 2 minutes to put the image together. You can even use what we already have. We have a full turnkey marketing library, okay? But we can even co-brand for you. But you can use any of these e-blasts, brochures, mailers, postcards. Anything that we have is available to you at no charge, period, okay? Okay. So, left-hand side, real quick, we talk about the younger generation, okay? And we talk about some of these statistics that are skyrocketing. What is all of this telling us? What it's saying is the younger generation is more interested in learning more about life insurance than ever before. Okay, they're asking questions. They want to know what is the difference between term, whole life, IUL, right? And what is this LTC thing? What does this mean? Okay, they're asking more questions. They're buying more. In my opinion, I think ever since COVID, right, 4 or 5 years ago now, I think this opened a lot of doors because why? People are seeing that their parents, grandparents, friends, neighbors are maybe dying too early. Okay, maybe they were bedridden because of COVID, and maybe now they have a permanent condition because of it, and they're saying, "Wow, if something happened to me as little Johnny and little Susie, going to be okay. I should probably look into this thing called life insurance." Okay, and you talk about look at today's times, right? With this slight recession, with what's going on in the world around us. This is raising an eyebrow, okay? You talk about interest rates. Think about mortgage protection. Or think about mortgages now. I think they just said the new low was 8% was announced on Good Morning America this morning. 8% interest rate for a mortgage. I mean, it's insane. So think about protection. Think about people raising eyebrows, asking more and more questions to protect themselves and their families. You have to be out there in front of this, period. Okay. And it's funny because on the life insurance side, the numbers are skyrocketing for IUL premium, for term premium, all the above. Here's what's crazy. Top right corner. Look at this. 22% of all life policies sold in the first quarter of this year was IUL plans. Okay. And yes, agents are getting more savvy. And what does that mean? Consumers are getting more savvy. So you have to know enough to be dangerous. And that's what we're going to share today. In fact, that's why I personally invited Josh Hoffman to join us because I wanted him to dig in a little deeper. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you're 18 years old selling insurance and you're 2 days in, or you're 79, right, from Iowa, and you're doing this for 53 and a half years. It doesn't make a difference. Everyone, every single person on this call can go out, bring this up, right, at dinner tonight, at an event, okay, this weekend, at your kid's soccer game, whatever it is, right, and know enough to be dangerous and hopefully make a new sale. Anyway, look at some of these other stats here, bottom right corner. IUL sales have stabilized in Q3 and Q4 because of the interest rate environment. So what we're seeing because of that is the carriers are getting more aggressive with commissions, with bonus, with underwriting niches. That's what I just touched on. So we're going to talk about that in a few more minutes. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to talk about next is shift into third gear and talk about things here at Levinson. This is a good way, if we're talking about IUL or term or the latest statistics or marketing, every other week we send out our 411 newsletter, everything that has to do with life, annuity, with our 92 and a half carriers, everything is at this one-stop shop, and it's literally one click away. We make it very easy for you to understand, to keep your finger on the pulse of this industry from A to Z, okay? And that's how we separate it. We have annuity, news and updates, life, DI, LTC underwriting, and then on the bottom, that's everything going on here at the Levinson home office. Okay, so very simple to use in layman's terms. You need to keep your eyes on this stuff. Why? Because when your consumer brings up a new product or an underwriting niche, right, maybe they learned about from another competing agent, you need to know, hey, oh yeah, that's with Allianz. Sure, if you're approved at standard, you can get preferred, okay, just because they have this special program till end of year. Whatever it is, you got to keep your foot on the gas 24/7. This allows you to do exactly that. Next up is Carrie's Corner Editorial. So I love when Carrie writes these articles. Why? Because they bring up a lot of stories, okay, a lot of learning lessons for me. When I was a child, growing up with this life insurance spoon in my mouth, he was the old school MetLife career agent that drove around in the chocolate brown Cadillac, right, and had the short sleeve dress shirt and the tie that came halfway down his stomach, okay? That was the old school insurance agent, right? And he's got some stories that are awesome that you can use in today's world. Why? Because the message hasn't changed. The why hasn't changed, okay? And you need to go out and get the word through these different channels to your various clients, friends, network, neighbor, all the above. But most important, right hand side, we must never forget the why we do what we do. And I think that's the takeaway with this article, but you will love it. First, you got to read it. So what we're going to do is include it in the thank you email. So everybody will get a thank you email with all the brochures, the marketing, Carrie's Corner editorial, everything we're touching on today will be in your inbox tonight before we wrap up for the day. Okay? All right, let's keep moving forward. I want to get Josh on in just a few more minutes. What I want to talk about next, we all love to make a few extra bucks, especially end of year, holiday time, Christmas, Hanukkah, Thanksgiving, New Year's, right? Let's bring in the cash. Very, very simple. Okay. In fact, we literally have a contest where you write an app, you get $100 above and beyond your commissions plus renewals. Okay. But this is a good opportunity to make thousands. So real fast, we got John Hancock, top left corner, American National. It's in the middle section, Mutual of Omaha, bottom left, top right corner. This is a great way for AIG. It's now known as Corebridge Financial, 10% IUL bonus. Okay, that's huge. You're talking about, you're right, on the average, IUL case is about 8 to 10,000 of target. Okay, that's an extra $1,000 in your pocket. This is big stuff. Emeritus, $300 to $500 in cash. You have to submit at least 3 apps. Very easy. This is not rocket science. And by the way, they have all the living benefits attached at no extra charge. So another way to protect your clients, another story to tell to get the door open. It's not just about life insurance anymore, okay? There's also living benefits here. There's return of premium here. There's so many options, okay? Literally, the list goes on and on and on, and it just tells me if I'm an agent out there today, why would I not have my own YouTube channel? Why would I not talk about all these different types of products and riders? All that's going to do is make people say, wow, I didn't even know this was available. I didn't know they had a product like this. If I don't want it anymore in 20 years, I can get all my money back. I just had 20 years of free protection plus cash accumulation along the way. This is insane. Okay, tell me more. Well, guess what? New free client done. Okay, let's keep moving forward. What I want to talk about next, there's no easier contest. Okay, if you can't make this extra $100 cash, there's something wrong. Why? Because all you have to do is write your first app on Insure Me Now Direct. Okay, we now have Banner Life term on the platform. This is the most competitive term on the planet. Okay, it's now 100% direct to consumer. You can do it with your client on the phone. You can send them a link. They can log into your site at 3 a.m. Okay, it doesn't matter. We now have Google Analytics tracking that we're launching. This way you can see who clicked on your page, how many clicks, what page did they visit, all the above. Okay, and in fact, you'll even see the URL where they came from. So there's never been a better time to try this out. Insure Me Now Direct with Banner Life. Okay, Gerber, Surety. By the way, Gerber guaranteed issue. We had a webinar last week. This all comes with a free scholarship program. Okay, there's so much value add here, and it's very simple. First app, $100. If you write over 10, $500 gift card just in time for the holidays. Let's keep moving. Enough of my ranting. So this message with Insure Me Now Direct, okay, this has been a huge deal for us, okay? And I'm going to say, and I'm not going to say this lightly, this has been the biggest change, the biggest press release that Levinson has ever come across since 1972 was Insure Me Now Direct with the addition of Banner Life Insurance. Okay, why? Because it's the most competitive term in the world, literally. okay, from an A-plus company, and it doesn't matter, okay? Think about this. Think Amazon, okay? But now you're selling the most competitive term on your Amazon platform with your picture, your phone number, your email, okay? And this goes up to $2,860,000, but let's say they need a $20 million key man. Well, let's say they want a $20 million 40-year term, whatever it is, and that's way above the instant decision max. It's okay. It's the same exact process. The only difference is at the end, the client doesn't get an instant decision, okay? You get an email that says, oh, blood urine scheduled next Thursday, 2 p.m. And it's the same process that you're going through. The client's notified by email. They set up their phone interview or blood urine, whatever it is. Then the approval comes in, hopefully a week or two after, okay? But I would be selling all my term through this platform. Why not? This way you can focus on the large ticket IUL sale, okay? You're making, 37 grand on one case, right? Because it's index universal life with retirement planning and ROP and living benefit riders attached. Meanwhile, you're selling 20 term policies before you blinked because everyone's going to your Insure Me Now direct site and it's so easy, okay, and fast. 1, 2, 3. That's how you need to look at this. Okay. Let's keep moving forward. That's our press release, by the way. You'll see this through eBlast and in Insurance News Net magazine. In fact, it's the inside front cover for November. So make sure your site is set up, period. We got new additions. We got a new carrier. We got new final expense coming to the platform. So we're just getting started. Dream come true, though. This is, like I said, it's probably the biggest deal that we ever had in history. So I'm super excited. It's been a dream come true. Let's move to the next slide. I want to shift gears back over to IUL. And what I want to show you all here is with Levinson and Associates, it's a one-stop shop for IUL. Okay. In fact, for all life insurance products, supplemental products, annuities, we go out, right, and we find what's working the best. What are the best carriers? What are the best products? And that's why we have over 90 direct IMO contracts because of that reason. So as you're going to see in front of you, these are all IUL carriers, yes. Okay, but they each kind of have their own little niche. One might be a little more competitive than the other, but the other one might be focused more on cash value, maybe guarantees, maybe living benefits, maybe the ROP rider. Okay, but here's the point. We have everything covered from A to Z when it comes to IUL. Now, check this out. This is only with Levinson. If you look at the red asterisk, what that means, any product you sell with that company, you can give your client, your insured, a 1-year free scholarship through our Sage platform over 430 colleges in the U.S. And we're adding 1 to 2 colleges typically every 1 to 2 months. Okay? And this is a free value add by working with us. Okay? We have some new companies, so definitely take a look at that list. And then if you look at the green asterisk, what that means, we have an IUL sales software presentation system. By the way, it's free. So what that means is you can call into any one of our marketers and we can run a Stonewood illustration presentation for you to go present IUL to your client. Okay, it's free. Or we have a co-op discount if you want the full package, which is $2,200 a year. We're going to talk about that later. But the point here is, if you look at the green asterisk, those carriers are fully compliant with the Stonewood system. Okay, so their compliance department said, hey, we approve it. In fact, you can put our name on your website, okay, because we're 100% compliant with using our products with your software. So that's a big deal, okay? And again, Levinson agents, red asterisk, green asterisk, free, okay? It's free. So that's why I'm saying make sure that you're comfortable, you know enough to be dangerous, okay? The Stonewood software, awesome in the beginning. Like I said, call our marketer. We can show you exactly what it looks and feels like so you can go out and present IUL. Okay, my next slide here is Mr. Josh Hoffman's slide in his section. So I'm going to turn the wheel over to him, and I want to make sure that everyone's paying attention because he's going to give you a little 101. Josh, are you there?
Yes, I am, Bill.
Okay, thank you.
You very much. Yeah, and I just want to talk a little bit about IUL and how it gets funded. and some of the tax rules about IUL. And just to give you a little background, back in the 1960s and 1970s, they didn't have these rules. And what would happen is wealthy people would put $1 million into a $1 million policy to get the tax advantages of life insurance. And the government didn't like that, so they made some rules basically saying to get the tax advantages of life insurance that you actually have to buy life insurance. And this is kind of the whole basis of the MEC rules. And what's important with IUL is it generally gets overfunded. And the reason you want to overfund an IUL is it is able to grow and produce that retirement income. And we often call this min-max. And what min-max means is we're making the death benefit, the minimum death benefit the government will allow for the amount of money we're putting in. So by default, the amount of money we're putting in is a maximum amount we can put in and stay within the tax rules of life insurance. Now, this does have an effect on your commissions. And let me kind of give you an example. Let's say somebody wants to put $20,000 a year in, and let's say the minimum death benefit for that is $200,000. Well, the target on $200,000 isn't necessarily going to be that $20,000. Let's, for the sake of argument, say it's $10,000. The target is what you make full commission on. And the reason you need to put in more funds than you're making full commission on, that is the way an IUL is going to grow best. It's going to be competitive if you're competing and produce the highest income. And one of the things you also want to look at when you're writing an IUL is option A and option B. And for those of you who haven't worked with universal life in the past, let me kind of explain what those mean. Option A means that the death benefit stays the same regardless of how much premium you pay in. And people often like option A because your cost of insurance is based on what's called your net amount at risk, the cash value minus the death benefit. So over time, that net amount at risk is going to go down with option A. Option B means that if you pass away, your beneficiary gets both the cash value plus the death benefits. In other words, in my previous example, if you have a $200,000 death benefit and a $50,000 cash value, they would get $250,000 under option B, where they only get $200,000 under option A. Now, it's a little counterintuitive, but when you do an IUL, you want to start with option B. And the reason for that goes back to the MEC rule. Basically, the MEC rule is a rule of how much death benefit you have to have for a given premium. And under the government rules, if you have an option B premium, they allow you to have a much smaller death benefit. And the reason for this is with option B, the death benefit is going to get larger over time, whereas option A likely is not. And getting back to target premium, target is calculated based on what's needed to carry the policy. And that's basically why we use premiums higher than target on IUL. Because keep in mind, with an IUL, you're not just trying to carry the policy. You're trying to build up a high enough cash value that it's going to provide a retirement income. And again, that goes back to the commissions that you'll get paid on target. But, I think what you have to keep in mind is a lot of times the funding on these IUL policies is going to be $20,000 or $30,000 a year. So if your target premium is $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, that's still a good day at work. And I want to get into guideline and MEC premiums also. And the difference is there's a lot of tax laws around IUL. And the reason is IUL has three big tax advantages. And those three big tax advantages are, number one, it uses FIFO accounting. And for people who aren't familiar with LIFO and FIFO accounting, LIFO stands for last in, first out. And what that means with an investment is when you put money in a stock, in a mutual fund, or even an annuity, your gain comes out first. So with any other investment other than a life insurance, when you take out money, you're likely going to pay taxes because your gain is coming out first because it's last money in, first money out. Life insurance is first money in, first money out, which means when you have a life insurance policy, your basis or investment, which is not taxable, comes out first. And with an IUL, your client will likely never pay taxes because they're taking policy loans, which are considered in advance of the tax-free death benefit. So even when they spend the money down to the gain because they're taking the money out as loans and not withdrawals, that's a huge advantage of IUL. None of the retirement income is likely to be taxable. Now, the way this gets back into guideline at MEC is MEC only has to do with one of the three tax advantages of life insurance. If a policy is a MEC, you still accumulate money tax deferred, and you still have a tax-free death benefit. What you don't have with a MEC is a FIFO accounting. If a policy is a MEC, which stands for Modified Endowment Contract, and endowment is just an old-time word for annuity, it means it's going to be treated tax-wise like an annuity. That rather than having your investment come out first, your gain's going to come out first, and you lose the tax advantage of using it as a retirement vehicle. Now, guideline, you can't really violate guideline because guideline is the federal government's definition of life insurance for all three tax advantages. In other words, if you violate a guideline, you wouldn't have a tax-free death benefit, you wouldn't have tax-deferred accumulation, and you wouldn't have FIFO withdrawals. So guideline, so you could violate MEC if you really wanted to. It wouldn't be a good idea, but you can have a policy that violates MEC. You cannot have a policy that violates guideline, and that's why you probably don't want to use guideline premium when you do an IUL because a guideline premium could very well violate MEC. And I want to talk a little about AG 49, which is something, AG 49B, which is something you may have heard a little bit about. And what AG 49B is, it's fairly recent. It came about in about the last year. Is the government felt the illustrations being used for IUL were too aggressive, that some of the assumed rates were too high, and some of them use what's called multiplier. And what a multiplier is a assumption you'll get a bonus on your returns every year, and different policies do it different ways. Sometimes they'll promise you 1.5 times the returns, or 1.25, but they multiply the returns by a certain amount. And basically, what the government said is that insurers can't use that multiplier anymore, and they have to use lower rates. So if you're actually selling IUL, you may have noticed that the illustrations you're doing now aren't as aggressive as the illustrations you might have done a year ago. But that doesn't mean you're not going to see growth. Most illustrations are still showing 6 to 7% growth, which is what you'd get in an average market, maybe a little on the conservative side, but most of the policies do still show very good growth. And and I brought this up a little bit before, one of the huge advantages of IUL is they're designed to kind of mirror what a Roth IRA does. The idea is all of the retirement income will be tax-free. And the reason for this is partially the FIFO accounting and partially the fact that you're making policy loans. Because, as I said before, the FIFO accounting allows your basis to come up first, so it wouldn't be taxable regardless until you get down to the gain of the policy. But even once you get down to the portion that's gain, it's not taxable because you're taking loans and the loans are considered in advance of the tax-free death benefit. The one thing I'd caution you about, and this kind of goes back to funding the policy properly, is that in order for the distributions to be tax-free, the policy needs to be enforced when the client passes away. So you have to make sure you have to review the policy and make sure the policy does have enough value to carry it for the person's lifetime. And one of the last things I want to talk about is what we call loan arbitrage. One of the reasons that UL works so well for retirement income. Another big advantage of IUL is that when you make a loan, the money you have in your hand, the loan money, is treated as if it's still in the policy. So basically, let's say your loan interest rate is 5%, just as an example, and the policy makes 7%, which is what a typical illustration is going to show. That extra 2% the client gets to keep, even though he has that money in his hands. The company doesn't have the money. And that's one of the reasons policies grow so well. Now, on the illustration, it's going to be 2%, but what's more likely to happen in the real world is that some years a policy is going to earn 10%, and that might be 5% in the loan arbitrage, and other years it might be a negative return, and the person's going to owe 5% interest. But basically, over time, the person should come out ahead on loan arbitrage because of the fact that money they have in their hands is being treated as if it's still in the investment accounts. And I just want to take a minute to go over some of the advantages that some of our carriers have. LSW or National Life, they're great with foreign nationals. They'll take a lot of foreign nationals that other companies will not, based on things like length of time in the country than necessarily what type of visas they have. They have a rider which guarantees lifetime income, and that's very important. One thing you have to keep in mind is on most IULs, we project income, but it's based on performance and it's not guaranteed. So LSW has a huge advantage here that they're guaranteeing a minimum level of income. And also, they have what's called accelerated benefit riders, which are sometimes called the living benefit riders. And this means if, God forbid, a person gets a chronic illness, a stroke, cancer, where they can't perform their activities of daily living, or even if they get what's called a critical illness, and, let's say they have a heart attack or a stroke, and they can still do their activities, but they have some level of disability, they'll get a portion of the death benefit while they're still living. And they also have fertility treatment riders, which makes them a very female-friendly company. With Emeritus, they have a lean approach to living benefits where you actually get a defined amount for the living benefits, which is unique. Most companies with living benefits determine the living benefits by the severity of your illness and the opinion of their underwriters. Emeritus is actually giving you a defined amount. They also have what's called a premium deposit account, which is very important because we get this question all the time. I have somebody, who has $250,000 from selling a house and they want to dump it in an IUL. Well, I just went over the MEC rules a little bit ago, and with the MEC rules, that really doesn't work because if you dump a huge amount of money in, it's going to require a large face amount going forward into the future, which is going to be hard to fund and probably keep your growth down because of the cost of insurance. What a premium deposit fund does lets you split that deposit over 5 or 10 years and keep the non-MEC death benefit lower to make the policy a better investment. Sagicor has great underwriting. They'll give you 2-minute decisions on IUL up to $1 million, and they have living benefits. They also have a single premium IUL plan, which guarantees you return of premium from day one, and they are SAGE Scholarship approved. Now, I have clients who are smokers. John Hancock is a great company for smokers. They offer smokers non-tobacco rates. And the way this works, I'll charge them non-tobacco cost of insurance for the first 3 years, and then they will come back and see if they actually quit smoking now to determine what their future cost of insurance will be. They also have accelerated underwriting up to $3 million, and they're also one of our top foreign national carriers. And the last thing I want to talk about is something that Prudential is offering. Prudential is offering what they call mirrored loans. And what a mirrored loan means, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with what a 1035 exchange is. A 1035 exchange is basically where somebody uses the funds from an old policy to pay for a new policy. And a lot of our sales are made this way. The problem we run into sometimes is people have already taken loans against the old policy. And in those cases, a lot of companies will not accept 1035s if the policy has a loan against it, because they don't want to have to do the accounting for the loan and figure out if the policy is going to run and things like that. Prudential will accept 1035s on policies with loans, and to keep the person from having a taxable distribution, they will carry the loan over to the new Prudential policy. They call it a mirrored loan. Now, just to give full disclosure, they won't do this on every loan. They're not going to dump on policies where 90 or 100% of the cash value is loaned out. Usually the loans have to be 50% or less of the cash value. But still, for somebody who had a policy and made loans against it and doesn't necessarily want to pay them back to do a 1035, this is a great program because they can take a policy with a loan that's not performing, move it to a new policy that will likely have better performance, and not pay the taxes on the outstanding loan. And I think that's about all I have. I will give it back to Bill.
Thank you very, very much. And, just think about this. And like I said earlier, we have a lot of rookies, we have a lot of veterans, so we wanted to have a little bit for everyone, and that was the point. I also see we're getting a little bit behind on time. I promised everyone 45 minutes. We're going to be a little bit over. So here's what I'm going to do. I have some great content that's left here, and then we're going to have our giveaway at the end. So you got to be paying attention, and you have to answer my question of the day first and correctly, and then you win. I have a set of Apple AirPods with the IUL prospecting book, and we'll announce your name at the end here live. But you got to stay on until the end. That's the trick. But what I want to do now is I'm going to move quick, and I want you, because I'm going to move quick, just jot down if there's a concept, an idea, platform that you want us to revisit. Call us after we hang up today. Okay, any one of our marketers, and we'll dive in deeper. But I am going to move pretty quick. So sit back, relax, make sure you're holding your pen tightly, or use that Q&A pane. Andrew is actually answering all the questions and comments that come in. We want to hear from you, please, okay? Because we build these trainings around your feedback, period. Don't forget that. IUL Learning Center. So once you're in the website, you want to learn more. And again, we take it down and literally drill down to the A's, B's, and C's, and we get as far deep and complex as you would like us to get in that Learning Center. So take a look at the videos, podcasts, all the above. And then, like I said, reach out if you have any questions. Let's keep moving forward. These are the 2 programs that just came out for year end, where they have a 2 risk class bump for all of your consumers. What does it mean? Standard to preferred best. What does it mean? It means standard tobacco to preferred tobacco. Okay, this is huge. I would go revisit all of your past IUL cases, okay, and see if you can get your foot back in the door. Maybe if the premium was too expensive. Maybe if they were rated up for whatever health condition came up, okay? Think Allianz, and then Lincoln right-hand side, Allianz left side, Lincoln right-hand side. These are all the details, but there's no small print here, no gray area, okay? We're talking shave programs from 3 tables to standard, and then, like I said, standard to preferred best, and then even on the tobacco side. So you got to run with this. It's a great opportunity to go revisit your past clients and maybe people that didn't fit into the preferred best class because of whatever issue came up. I would definitely open the door again. Let's keep moving. So this is awesome. We were the pilot agency for iPipeline. It's called the Isolve quoting engine. And what's so cool about this, think about this for a second. You can go in and run a quote, run an IUL quote, okay? First time ever. Very easy, just like the term quote engine. You can go in, put in the basic information about your client, run the IUL quote, and then let's say your client's on the phone or you're face-to-face or maybe you have your smartphone out. They say, Bill, this looks great. I want in. You literally hit go to next page or accept, and boom, you're into a drop ticket application, and it takes all of that information, pre-populates it, and then you fill out any missing info with the client, and you're done in less than 10 minutes. Okay, so it's freaking awesome. It's all integrated now with iPipeline on our LevinsonandAssociates.com website, and again, no charge. So run with this. Stonewwood IUL presentation system. This is a no-brainer, okay? And it's a no-brainer because it's free. And when I say it's free, call any one of our marketers, especially Josh is a guru, okay? And he will put the presentation together for you on a certain client so you can go out and present it. And then you'll see why the value add here is so important. It basically breaks down an IUL illustration in layman's terms and helps you make the sale. So we also have a IUL prospecting book that goes along with it. Okay, we have agents that hand these out during the holidays, and it tees up the IUL appointment for them. Okay, the retail price is $19.95. Our agents pay cost. I think they're like $6 or $7 with shipping, but we're going to give a free one out to today's winner. We'll give it out on top of the Apple AirPods. Okay, now if you want the full package where you can run the presentations yourself, we have a discount right now where it's $2,200 a year, or if you're writing a minimum of $2,000 a month of IUL premium, we pay the entire $2,200 price for you. Okay, so either way, you're in, and if you're brand new, never written before with Levinson, we will run a presentation for free. So keep that in the back of your mind as well. Okay, talk about door openers. Okay, this is a no-brainer. And if I had my YouTube channel, I'm out there selling on a retail level, which we don't do. We're wholesalers strictly. But if I was a agent on the street, okay, I would put together a probably a 2 or 3 minute video on this concept. Okay, think parents, think grandparents. Okay, here's the question. Can you afford $99 a month for little Johnny, for little Susie, okay, to protect their future and to make sure that they have enough money for a 4-year tuition and they have a life insurance policy? $99 a month, mom or grandma or grandpa? Okay? The answer is going to be yes. Here's why. Let's move on to the next slide here. This comes along with the program, by the way, the SAGE Scholarship, which is, think about this, up to 1 year free. So about $40,000 of value there. Let's move to the next slide. Here's the ultimate door opener that no one will say no to. Okay, so just think about this. Sit back for a minute. Take a deep breath. Okay, you're listening to me and Josh rant on about an IUL for the last 45 minutes. Think about this for a second. And I want you to put your scrappy hat on and say, okay, how am I going to get the word out tonight? Okay, because this is going to open doors. Now, here's the illustration in front of you. For this example, we used Allianz. Okay, take little Jenny. Okay, 2 years old, grandchild, daughter, whatever, doesn't make a difference. $99 a month, $100 a month. Okay, think about this for a second. Once the grandparent says, you know what, I'm interested. Tell me more. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put in $100 a month. Okay, over 20 years, you're going to put in a total of $24,000. Okay, now, once that child is in college, that $24,000 is going to turn out to be just a hair under $80,000. $80,000 to be used for college education for a 4-year tuition. Okay? So, how would you like that $100 a month, okay, at 24,000 total over 20 years to turn into $80,000 by the time little Jenny is in college, okay? No one is going to say no to that. And along with it, they had a life insurance policy. There's a death benefit attached, an increasing death benefit. There's cash accumulation. They can even keep the policy going for little Jenny after her 4-year tuition. Okay? This is a no brainer, folks. There's nothing else. There's no other vehicle that will take 24,000 into $80,000 in a 20-year period. Okay, and all the bells and whistles that went along with it. Okay, I would be running with this. You're not going to become a billionaire overnight from this, but what it will allow you to do is get the door open to share your story, to talk about other products and concepts, right? And referrals. And you know how it works. The list goes on and on. Anyway, we can run a sample quote for you if you want to take a look. We'll also include this in our thank you email. Okay, premium finance. So this is a great alternative, even if it's an existing policy holder. Okay, typically it works great with younger professionals, okay, making at least $150,000 a year, minimum net worth of about $1.5 million. Okay, if they qualify, we can show them how to get 3 to 5 times the death benefit paying the same premium or next to no premium, right? Depending on their situation and the need. We have a premium finance worksheet you can fill out. We can run some sample proposals for you, and we can see if it's a good fit for your client. But another great option there as well. This is great. The next slide for seminars. Now, you're probably thinking, now everything is webinars, online. The old Ponderosa Buffet was a thing of the past. Well, actually, it's back. And it's probably as good as it ever was. Okay, I'm not going to say better or bigger, but it's as good. And here's what's great. So we teamed up with Kansas City Life. They have a turnkey seminar platform where you can give out these $500 gift cards, these scholarships to everyone that attends, even if they don't buy anything from you, just for coming to your seminar. Then they have these turnkey platforms, and you can pick from different topics. All of this is complimentary, even the invitations. So everything from A to Z with KCL. Now, you do have to be appointed with Levinson and KCL for this exclusive opportunity, but I would run with this stuff. Next slide is my favorite IUL coach, period. And what's so great about Joe Ross and his presentation, number one, he's talking about IUL with Corebridge, AIG. They have that 10% bonus till year end. That's huge, okay? And this presentation, he's talking about business owners and how you can market to business owners by leveraging an IUL policy with living benefits. Now, we did a 1-hour webinar that we're going to send out. We also did a podcast for an hour with Joe that we're also going to send out. We'll include all of this in the thank you email. But these are great strategies, especially if you're working with business owners and you're looking to get your foot in the door. Another great story to tell. Then we have the Aristopedia software that allows you, let's say you're marketing in South Florida, 33067 zip code. It will give you a list of all the business owners in this zip code or area code and give you all of the information you need to be dangerous, to talk about their existing plans they have in force, how many employees they have, who is the decision maker in the business. Basically, everything from A to Z. We're giving you all the tools to accomplish exactly that. Next up is Joe's butterfly chart. What I love about this is he's talking about IUL. And what he's saying here with this chart is the first 20 to 40 years prior to retirement, okay, how you can leverage the cash value. Kids are going to college, you want to pay off a mortgage, income replacement, and then the middle is retirement. And then in your retirement years, how will the policy help you? And then when you pass, how will this policy help your family? And then how will these living benefits be triggered, and how will that help you? So it makes it, again, for a no-brainer decision to an IUL sale for you, okay? And the bottom right, that's our new IUL prospecting book called Holistic Retirement, which we'll also give away to the winner on today's webinar. Okay, so we have a few of these books. What we're going to talk about now is various ways to get your foot in the door. Okay, where these are exclusive leads. They're actually reaching out saying, hey, I want to know more. Okay, let's start on the bottom right-hand corner. These are up to $1 million, no exam life leads. Now, this could be IUL. This could be return of premium life. This could be term. It's up to you. It's how you pivot. Okay, it's how you control the conversation. So these work great. We're seeing most of our IUL sales between any lead program offered. That's where most of them are coming from. Bottom right corner, starting at $30 a lead, 100% exclusive. These are from Facebook paid ads, by the way. Top section, mortgage protection mailer. And then let's move over to the left top section. Those are the IUL prospecting books. And then just below that, bottom left-hand corner, that is our financial services mailer program. We have a co-op discount. We're seeing about a 2% return, and that leads to IUL sales, annuity sales, everything that has to do with financial services. They're asking for more info. They want to be educated. Okay, let's switch gears. We're going to talk about follow-up. We're going to talk about email marketing. I know we're running late, but I'm going to make sure we get everybody out on time. Well, actually, at 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll call it. Ringy is the way to go for follow-ups. Now, we use this for agents, but think about this. You have a shelf, right? And on this shelf, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of prospects, family, friends, everyone in your network that ever reached out to you. All you're doing is you're reaching back out to all those people with a text message, a phone call, an email, until they say, Bill, I want to make an appointment next Tuesday, 2 p.m. to talk about IUL or term or whatever their needs are. You're keeping your name in front of everyone you ever came across in your life, period. What is that going to do? What it's going to do is about 5 to 15% of that bucket of people are going to say, hey, I'm ready. I want to talk about life insurance. Okay? No brainer. Right-hand side, agency automator. Think of Salesforce, Constant Contact. This is basically a CRM tool, a free website, a way to prospect. Okay, and it's basically free. If you want the basic package, all you do is pay for hosting, $9.95 a month. You get everything else at no charge, and then the packages start at $50 a month and go up from there if you want to use the prospecting database, and then we have the annuity version as well. Let's keep moving. These are sample indexed universal life posts on social media. All I did was run a search like I do every week, and I try to find the best performing life insurance posts. The left-hand side, 6 ways life insurance can secure your financial future. Very simple, folks. These are just basic bullets that are used to open doors and create comments and direct messages. Right-hand side, when your client says they'll buy term and invest the difference. That one had like 600 likes. So that is great, and it's getting people's attention, and that is the purpose, but you have to start thinking like that. Okay, I want to share a couple others. I know we're running late, so real fast, these are different ways cash value will benefit you. Right-hand side, what are the benefits of IUL insurance? We're going to include all of these in the thank you email, so you can use the same thing. I always say you don't have to reinvent the wheel, change a few spokes, go out and be effective, but you got to go out and make it happen. Right? If you don't try, you're never going to know, period. Let's get started. So let's say, Bill, I want in scholarship program, Allianz. This is great, unbelievable. How do I get started? Go to our website, follow that yellow arrow. Everything will lead you to cash for contracting, leads for contracting, and the contracting request. And then on the right-hand side is all of our IUL sales and marketing material. We showed you a few screenshots earlier. Next up is our podcast. By the way, I'm done in 2 minutes here. The podcast is awesome. Every single month I have a live episode, and I pull in different industry gurus, influencers. I have Mary Reed on here. She's great when it comes to retirement planning strategies. Joe Ross, I did 2 separate podcasts with him. I have Gary Vaynerchuk. I have World Series MVP on here. I have Bershad Perryman. I have you name it, okay? I have IUL MDRT producers on here, top right-hand side. These are great learning nuggets for you to use for free. Use it tonight when you're walking around the block. You have your Apple AirPods in. You're learning as you're walking and doing some cardio, okay? Killing two birds with one stone. Check that out when you can. Next up is our weekly trainings. Now, this is very important. I'm going to point out a few, blue section. The first one nationwide next week. So you get free CE credit if you're on our 60-minute webinar. Plus, we're going to educate you. You're going to learn, again, two birds, one stone. On the bottom, Assurity just rolled out a new accident expense plan on Insure Me Now Direct, guaranteed issue. We're going to dive into that on the second. Just under that is our Ringy Q4 update call. Now, that's the follow-up system, no-brainer. If you want to be successful today, you need to use Ringy or anything similar. I don't care, but you need a follow-up system. Bottom, new final expense carrier that we are launching on Insure Me Now Direct, okay, on the 16th. What does that mean? We're going to have over 25 products, including final expense, on Insure Me Now Direct going into the new year. Couldn't be any more excited. Make sure your site is set up. My last slide here, and we're going to put a bow on this. But first, I'm going to talk about my Positive Tuesday quote. Then I'm going to ask my question of the day. My quote this week is all about laser focus, okay? More business is destroyed by distraction than by competition. Put your blinders on, okay? Don't let anything affect your plan, your goal. If you didn't write it down, if you don't have a way to get there, okay, you're not looking at this and reminded of your goal every day, you have nowhere to go, okay? It's pointless. It's riding a horse in reverse around New York City. Write it down, make it happen, figure out a way to get there. And when you hit it, what's next, okay? You got to keep moving, foot on the gas, laser focus. Question of the day. Hope you were paying attention real fast. Make sure your fingers are on the keyboard. Question is, how many IUL carriers are compliant and on our Stonewood IUL software platform? How many IUL carriers are compliant and approved on the Stonewood IUL software platform? How many carriers? You tell me the number. You win. Apple AirPods, IUL prospecting book. Actually, it's two IUL prospecting books, Holistic Retirement and Retirement Savings. Andrew, do we have a winner today?
Yes, it's Daniel A. Daniel A.
Daniel A. The magic number was 9 carriers approved on Stonewood. Let's have a great day. I guess the point behind all of this, get the word out. Know enough to be dangerous. We're here to help, okay? You do whatever it takes. You're helping these families at the same time helping your family. Let's make it happen. Have a great week, great selling, and thanks again, everyone.